here comes the negotiator, the incredibly bad negotiator. Now, President Obama, before the election in May, said, you know, if I win, I think everything's going to be all right with the Republicans. I laughed and laughed at that at the time, and I'm still laughing. Here's what he had said back in May of this year. He said, I believe that if we're successful in this election, when we're successful in this election, that the fever may break. Because there's a tradition in the Republican Party of more common sense than that. What are you talking about? Are you talking about a tradition from 1850? From 1950? There's no tradition in the Republican Party right now of having common sense. And he said also, my hope, my expectation is that after the election, now that it turns out that the goal of beating Obama doesn't make much sense because I'm not running again, that we can start getting some cooperation again. Well, are you getting cooperation on your grand bargain negotiations, Mr. President? Shockingly enough, it turns out the fever has not broken. In fact, when he did a press conference today, they asked him about it. Here's what he said.
They keep on finding ways to say no as opposed to finding ways to say yes. And I don't know how much of that just has to do with, it is very hard for them to say yes to me. But at some point, they've got to take me out of it and think about their voters and think about what's best for the country.
Wow, really? So after the election, they still hate you? I didn't see that coming. I really thought you were right, that perhaps Republicans would turn around and go, oh, well, let's just cooperate with the president. Come on, that's ridiculous. But look, he's got one thing right. It is about him. But I think he's got it in a different direction. I think he's wrong on why they will not make a deal with him. He thinks that perhaps it's because they hate him and the fever hasn't broken. No. It's because they sense, they could smell the weakness on him. Now, he keeps saying, I will not move from this position. And then he moves from the position. So he said it again today. Here, I'm going to skip ahead to video 6 here. Remember what he said about the debt ceiling. He said it before. He's saying it again. Here, watch.
Would you negotiate with them in that context?
No. And I've been very clear about this. So I've put forward a very clear principle. I will not negotiate around the debt ceiling.
Except we all know you are negotiating around it now. That you were happy to get a deal from Boehner where he said, all right, I will increase it or let you increase the debt limit for 1 more year. And then everybody was like, oh, it's a big breakthrough in the negotiations. That's not a breakthrough. You said you already took it off the table. Why are you re-engaging in that conversation? And his offer is 1 year, not the whole 4 years. And the debt ceiling isn't money. Should we spend more money? That's the budget. This is, should we pay the money we already spent? There should be no reason to have that conversation. They can smell the weakness.